Thanks for joining. I appreciate you taking the time to join. I was having a conversation with Francis, who you met earlier, about this podcast, and I was actually really quite excited to film it because I'm obviously coming to the retail technology show, which we'll get into in a minute. But just a little bit about yourself, what your role is at the 19 Group, and how that kind of correlates directly to the retail technology show.
Well, thank you, George. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to talk to you today. I'm the event director for the Retail Technology Show, which is a new expo or show that takes place in London Olympia on the 26th and 27th of April. And it's a show for suppliers of retail technology that can help a retailer run their business more effectively, more efficiently, and more profitably. So it's a big event that we've been working on for quite some time now, with a full-scale conference program that runs alongside it. And my role is it's a hard one to answer, really. I think it differs from day to day, which is why I enjoy it so much, actually. But it's it's sort of the overall running of the show, the promotion of the show, the sales of the show, the operations, the budgets, and everything that goes with it. So sort of buck stops with me, I suppose.
Yeah, no, great. And I think when did you first start the show, and kind of what challenges have you faced having hosted the show for however long that's been, and how have you overcome them?
Well, I started the show 10 years ago, in fact, under another name, which was RBTE, which is the Retail Business Technology Expo. And that grew progressively over sort of 4 or 5 years until we sold it to quite a major exhibition company we were called Reed. And the challenges, I suppose, that I'll come on to that in a second, actually. The challenges that I've faced, there's been many, to be honest. I mean, it's the show never runs without its issues. Keeping up to date with what is relevant is vital for us. And one of the main things that makes the show so exciting is that it's a very fast-paced, never-moving industry, but that also makes it quite challenging as well, because a conference program that you write 4 months in advance might not be relevant, by the time the show comes around. So that's a challenge that we constantly face, and we sort of answer that by being very close to our marketplace and meeting and speaking with our customers and our retailers very often, and finding out what the pain points and the issues they're facing. So. And then I suppose on a bigger scale, when I sold the business to Reed, I went from sort of an owner of a business and sort of making our own decisions to being part of a much bigger company that were far more corporate than I suppose we were back in the day. But there was lots of benefits with that, that they helped with resources and finances, and helped us get to where we wanted to go a lot quicker. But obviously that also came with its own complications and issues. And I suppose, without doubt, the biggest problem we faced is, the pandemic over the last few years, which completely shut us down. We didn't have a show we haven't run a show now for 3 years. So with Reed, who had purchased us, they had to make some sort of quite serious and difficult commercial decisions, and one of those was to let go of the retail show. So we didn't actually have a home, and it was a chance phone call with the CEO of 19 Events, or 19 Group, which is Peter Jones, and the managing director, Alison Jackson, and who sort of really just sold me the dream of bringing the show to 19, and it was a good decision in the end.
Yeah, I think it's a really inspiring story, and I think you mentioned a little bit about the pain points of the retailers that are going to be attending the event. Is that something that you really hone down on and focus on when either selecting exhibitors, or when you go out and you find your ideal retailers and companies that you want to be part of the event?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the show wouldn't run if it wasn't for the intel that we get from our advisory board of retailers. So we absolutely, we're nothing if we're not relevant to the industry. So we spend a lot of time listening. We spend a lot of time meeting people and understanding. And I'm proud that we have a team that really do get under the skin of the retail sector. So I'm very confident that the program that we've put together, the 200 plus exhibitors that we have, are the people and are the messages that will sort of resolve a lot of the issues that retailers are facing today.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to having some really in-depth conversations with a lot of different exhibitors at the event, whether that's to do with, how Truvo can assist, or equally how they can help us. All the conversations that come with events like this is what I do my job, and it's the reason why I do my job. And I think you're the same.
I think it's a really good point, actually, because there was, the forced break that we had through the pandemic really sort of put the spotlight on the importance of face-to-face, the importance of meeting people, the importance of just, getting away from your laptop, getting out of your office for a few hours. And I think, once that was taken away from us, we realized that perhaps we're taking it for granted. And that's why I love what we do here. We bring people together. And I think that's, the experience you get at an exhibition is unlike anything else in the world. So I think I totally agree with what you're saying, George. I think it's going to be a really good couple of days. I think it's going to be a really fun couple of days where people that haven't been able to see each other for such a long time, finally reunited. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, and I think it's the reason why I do my job. It really is. And like you say, the moment that was taken away from me back in, God, I can't even think how long ago it was now, back in 2020 or whenever the pandemic hit, 2019 or whenever it was hit, it really did take away that luxury part of my job, which was going out and seeing people face to face. I think it's one of the reasons, and it is simply the reason why I do my job. I got into sales because I like people and I like getting on with people. And as soon as that was taken away, it felt like I didn't really have that connection with my customers or clients anymore.
Exactly. And I think, I don't tend to call myself an exhibition director. I've always labelled myself as an event director or a show director, because that's how I envisage this event. It's not about an exhibition. It's not about rows of stands. It's about bringing people together and getting them to enjoy, a really beneficial experience. So, I'm like you. I've always been a big sort of ambassador for going out and seeing people, and the best part of my job is the people I meet. So I've felt demoralised over the last few years where I haven't been able to do that, and so
I can relate.
I'm excited for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I can fully relate. And moving on to about the organisers in a whole, so the 19 group. So the website says that the 19 group deliver major scale exhibitions. What does that mean?
I suppose it means different things to different people, but we operate in quite a lot of different sectors. We operate in the security sector quite heavily. We operate in the emergency services sector. We operate in the cybersecurity sector, and we operate in workplace and several others. And they organise enormous shows in the NEC, in Olympia. So they are the senior leadership team, particularly led by the likes of Peter Jones, Alison Jackson, and John Lacey, they are, for want of a better word, they're old pros. They've been in this business for a very long time. They're very well known. They've done, incredible things. And I've been in the industry myself for around 20 years. And, I remember Alison Jackson from when I first started. So it just goes to show the sort of experience that they bring with them. So choosing the right business to put, the retail technology show alongside was important, because there had to be the right fit. We needed someone that was entrepreneurial, but also was sort of quite heavily backed financially. We wanted someone that was going to be quite hands-on and had a lot of experience, but also people that trusted us to let us get on with what we do and what we do best. So, the 19 group has been a really, really good fit for me personally, and certainly for the Retail Technology Show. And I think that is one of the reasons, among many, as to why the show sold out, I think 6 or 7 weeks ago now. We've got a waiting list of over 50 companies looking to come in. If there's anyone that can't make it, we've got a waiting list ready for people to jump in.
Yeah, and I think when you've got a group of people like that with drive and passion towards the actual cause of the company, I think you're right. It's almost a recipe for success.
It's one of those companies that they talk about culture a lot, but it's not just words with them, and you can feel the culture from everyone, whether they work in marketing, sales, operations, whether they sit on the leadership team or anything. There is a real passionate group of people that work here, and that's why they deliver some quite incredible events.
Yeah, and slightly off topic. What does culture mean to you? Because I think a lot of people think that it just means turning up to work and feeling happy, and I think sometimes it can be thought about in a few different ways. But what does culture mean to you, and how do you feel like the 19 Group culture allows you to be as good as you are at your job?
I think it's about empathy. I think that's a really important part in any sort of workplace, is understanding that people's lives are going on around them. I think it's very hard to instill a culture, and it's a very difficult thing to do. And I think unless you live and breathe that way, unless you are naturally sort of empathetic, encouraging, passionate, it isn't something that you can just say, well, that's what we're going to be from tomorrow onwards. So I think it's got to feel real, it's got to feel genuine and authentic. And so that for me, culture is very much about, are we real? Are we, and I think we've got a very open door system here. Everyone is very much, there's obviously a hierarchy, because there has to be, in any business, there has to be a hierarchy, but there isn't a feeling of them and us or anything like that. And it's very flat, and there are some very different groups of people within this business with all very separate skill sets, and everything is really encouraged. So I think they're a company that have really got culture at the top of their priorities, and they want everyone to sort of live and breathe there. And I think it's working. I certainly can see it. I mean, we get the when you do the company sort of reviews and people sort of questionnaires, the company's scoring incredibly high every time, of satisfaction values. So yeah, it's a good place to be.
Great. Yeah, no, and it does sound it. Moving on swiftly, obviously the reason we're doing this podcast is Truvo's going to be exhibiting at the Retail Technology Show. So who else is exhibiting? Have you got any at the top of your mind that you're looking forward to meeting with, or? Yeah. I mean, it's obviously difficult, because anyone I don't say is probably going to start WhatsApping me straight away to say why. Yeah, don't answer that bit. Don't answer that bit.
There's lots of things for different reasons. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of old friends that I haven't seen in many years. There's some really, really exciting startup companies that are very, very exciting. We've given them spaces for absolutely nothing. We haven't charged them, because these guys, they are the future of this industry. They've got some really exciting and innovative technology that they shouldn't be discarded because they couldn't meet our rates to get into the venue. That's not what this is about. This is about providing the very best retail tech in the industry to our retailers. So I'm very excited. I'm always very excited to see the people in the startup zone and the startup safari and the discovery zone. We've got Amazon with the Just Walk Out technology, which will be very exciting, because they haven't exhibited at a show yet to sort of display how they can help other retailers. So I'm very looking forward to seeing that. And there'll always be some surprises. There's 200 plus exhibitors, so it's there's a few things that sort of slip by me in the build up to the show that I'm not aware of, that I sort of find as things that sort of impress me as I walk around.
Yeah, and again, we touched on it before, but I think the whole point of this event is for that networking purpose, and I think one of the most exciting things that I'm looking forward to is talking to people that A, I've never met before, but B, never knew existed, or their product did, or their tech did, or I'm just really excited to be exposed to that for the 2 days of the event. Yeah,
I mean, we had a quote many years ago from someone, and it just sums it up perfectly, which was sort of 6 months of work in 2 days. Because you're getting that insight into the future of the business. You're meeting incredible suppliers that can revolutionize your business, and to do all that would take months and months and months. And here it will be available for you over 2 days.
Yeah, great. And I think we're talking about this very much from an exhibitor point of view, but in regards to the attendance and the attendees, who's invited to the event? How much are the tickets? What have people got to do to get there?
Well, tickets are totally free. We've ummed and ahed about whether we should start charging people or not, but that's not our business model, if I'm honest. Our business model comes from sponsorship and exhibitors. It is open to the entire retail family. So the people that tend to register and visit are heads of IT, C-suite levels, heads of marketing, brands, operations, and then you sort of slip into the more verticals, so like supply chain and payments and e-commerce. So it is really a show for all retailers to attend, and sort of all disciplines of that retail that retail family. And it's really, really simple. It's a 5-minute registration form on our website, which is retailtechnologyshow.com. Yeah, very, very simple for them to register. And if you're a retailer, you get priority passes, which means you get speedy access into the venue, you get speedy access into any conference program, access to the private retailers lounge. So there's a real advantage in signing up early.
Great. And one of the things that I'm most actually looking forward to is the keynote speakers. There's some great speakers lined up. Off the top of your head, what keynote speakers have we got, and what can the attendants expect?
It's the best program we've ever put together.
It looks it. It does look it.
It's taken a long time, and it's been born out of, as I said at the start of the podcast, that it's born out of the issues that retailers are facing today. Headliners, Mike Coop, ex-Sainsbury's, New Look, Jeremy Schwartz from The Body Shop, Ellen Mills from Deliciously Ella, the founder of Deliciously Ella, and then of course our main headliner, which is Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO and newest Dragon. Oh, my light's gone off.
There's the light's gone.
Yeah.
For the context of the listeners, Matt is in a room, a very sustainable building, that if there's no movement within the building, the lights go off, and he's just gone to turn them back on.
I think it is going back on, actually.
There we go.
The rest is dark, so okay. All right.
Yes, one of the ones I'm really looking forward to is Stephen. I think I've watched most of the up-to-date Dragon's Den, and I have to say he's been a great contribution to the show. I think he's brought a different dynamic to the show, and I'm really looking forward to what he's got to say.
He's excellent. I mean, he is. I think I once described him as probably the most in-demand man in the UK, but I don't think that's an exaggeration, if I'm honest. He is spoken about so highly by so many different people, and his podcast is excellent. I listen to the podcast all the time. I think it's going to be, and he's talking about some really interesting things. He's discussing around the metaverse and the impact that's going to have on retail. So I think that's going to be a standing room only. In fact, I'm just putting in an additional sort of seating area where we can beam it live to another part of the show, because I just don't think the theatre holds almost 300 people, but we know we're going to get significantly more than that for that session.
Yeah, and I do think one of the things that I'm going to be seeking there is to talk to people about the future of retail, and how, like you just mentioned, the metaverse, the NFTs, consumer blockchain, how all of this concept can essentially bring kind of Web3 to the retail sector, and how that's going to have, what kind of impact it's going to have, because I think it could have a big one, but I'm a little bit of a novice still at the moment, and I don't quite know what to think.
And I don't think, and to be honest, I think that the impression I get is that a lot of retailers feel novice as well around it, and I think that is one of the benefits of the show, is that we've got some real experts there that will stand on stage and say, okay, well, I can give you a bit of a roadmap here, I can give you some indication of what is going to be, where what horse to back type thing. So there is, and that again, that's the whole purpose of the show. It's to that networking opportunity, but also the learning opportunity, because it's been a very, very turbulent 2 to 3 years for retail, probably more than any other sector. So the answers that they're searching for right now are so important, and hopefully, I don't want to sort of big ourselves up too much, but we can play a really important role in that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think so, if you're listening, for myself as well, if you are looking for a bit more clarity and a little bit more of a roadmap on these different areas and you want to ask some questions, 26th and 27th of April is it's at the Olympia, isn't it? So that's the place to be.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the place to be.
And it is a business show. So it is about business, but it's also about fun. And that's what this is about. It isn't just about rows and rows, as I said earlier, rows and rows of stands, rows and rows of handshakes. We have a unique opportunity here to be the first time for a show in this industry in 3 years in this country, and we're hosting a massive party on the first night for everyone in the venue. We've got lots of things planned, a few surprises, and I just expect it to be a really incredible and unmissable couple of days.
Great. As I said, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Now, and Matt, I really appreciate your time. I've got a quick few questions for you that are a bit more on the fun basis.
Okay.
Here we go. Quick fire round. So, have you ever written a song for someone?
No, I don't think so. No.
What dish do you cook best?
Arrabbiata. a pasta arrabbiata, probably with a bit of chorizo. I have a very small. I'm quite niche with what I can cook, but what I can cook well. That's what I would say.
Exactly. That's exactly how I am. I love that. Who is your favorite Disney character?
Probably Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Love that one. We haven't had that one before. I love that one. Now, what social network do you prefer for business networking?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. I think that's the one we always get. That's a great network, and I definitely use that a lot. And last one, do you have a bucket list?
Yeah, I've got things I want to do. I don't know if I've put them down on a bucket list, but yeah, there's things I want to do.
Yeah, great.
I'm actually getting to do one in a couple of weeks' time, which is, I'm a Crystal Palace fan, and I'm getting to take my daughter to Wembley to see Crystal Palace in the semi-final. So that is something I didn't think I'd ever get to do. So that's, yeah.
Perfect moment. And you had a great result of the weekend. So
we did.
No, Matt, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us. If anybody wants to find you on social media, how can they do it?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn as Matt Bradley, director of 19 Group and Retail Technology Show. My Twitter handle is @retail_Matt, I think. Yeah,
we'll put some links in the wherever you choose to listen into this. We'll put some links there to how you can get hold of Matt and have a chat with him. But Matt, I really appreciate your time and thank you for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Cheers, George. See you soon.
Cheers. Yes, I look forward to seeing you at the event. Thanks ever so much for listening to this podcast. I really enjoyed this one with Matt. It was quite insightful. I really enjoyed hearing his insights into the show, what he's got planned for the show. Myself and my Truvo colleagues are going to be at the Retail Technology Show this year on the 26th and 27th of April. We're going to be on stand 6E80 at the Olympia in London. Keep an eye out on all of our social medias to make sure that you're up to date on our activity. There'll be a couple of short videos and stuff from me as I'm traveling from place to place. But we really look forward to seeing you. Keep in touch with us. Let us know what you think in the comments. And we really look forward to seeing you.